Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get singles for all your Force of Will and other trading card games, as well as these amazing patrons. Thank you for your support. Enjoy the video.
Hey there, Rulers, TMO73 here. We're doing something a little bit different today because I wanted to talk you through these new reprint structure decks. With Decisive Battle of Valhalla, there was a lot of reprints that came out, but this provides you with a very interesting opportunity to be able to create your very own store's stockpile of starter decks that can be sold. You know, you can just give them away, you can sell them for like $5. The store probably, it's all commons and uncommons. It's very simple ways to help people play the game. So let's go ahead and first start off with the ruler. Every single deck is going to be using the Arcana of Dawn. The reason why we're using this is because we don't really care about the filters. We don't really care about the limited counters because all the decks are 10 basic of that stone. So all 10 white, all 10 fire, so you don't really need that. So we want to give access to that 7 divinity. You could also just house rule it that for the sake of these ones, you could turn this into an energize and give them 10 divinity. That's what some stores have been doing. I know we've done that before in some of our casual games where Arcana is treated as a vanilla ruler that has 10 divinity and an energize. That way you can at least kind of play on par, but it is a good way for people to learn how to play the deck. So Arcanas of Dawn are something that every store is going to have, so every store is going to use these for these structure decks. And then again, it's 10 of the basic color stones. So I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. I'm going to walk through each kind of deck and kind of why we built it the way we did. So we're going to start about, for the deck, you would need to find, there are 6 reprints for every color and 4 runes in every color. So we're going to need to find 4 to 5 to 6 kind of cards to put into as playsets or not playsets, and then a rune to fill out the slot. So we're going to start with Darkness. So quickly, as a reminder, the reprints are Fanatic of Grief, Fleurity, Skeleton Horde, Immortal Commander, Shamhaza, and Vlad. So the concepts that are introduced in this are discard, life gain, and reanimation. That's kind of the main trick that we went to. And like hand knowledge, right? The runes that were reprinted were Tears of the Fallen, a discard spell, Undeath, a reanimate, Sword of Lament, a J-Ruler kill, Demon Division, a search card, and our 5th rune is Craving. The reason why we wanted to play Craving is because it costs more, so it technically costs a grand total of 7. It is a big finisher card, and then it is a way to just say this drain kind of thing that Black is kind of known for. So that was kind of our way to flush that out. Again, this is an uncommon from New Dawn Rises, so it fleshes that out nicely. Now, for the structure decks, we're following a pretty similar kind of theming for what the 10 reprints are, or the reprints. We're choosing one of the guys from AOA that is based on the number of magic stones you control. So for this, it's 4 Fallen Angel Ritual. Also from AOA, we're picking the Rune 2 Resonator. So this is Diablo's Kin, 6/5, gives a Resonator -3/3 at Rune 2. We give every deck a series of additions, either all one addition or multiples. So for this, we're doing Bottomless Chasm of Death, mainly because it's this idea of like spewing out little tiny zombies, having kind of things in your graveyard, flooding your graveyard that way, kind of getting some value off of it. So we play Bottomless Chasm. And then for our spells, we're playing 2 Miasma of the Abyss for this kind of hard kill that Black is kind of known for, and then 2 Puppeteer to fill out that reanimate slot. So again, it's 2 4-drops, 2 5-drops, just to kind of fill out the spell base. So that is the Darkness one. We're going to move on to Light, its counterpoint. To quickly go over the reprints again for that deck, we're playing 4 Acolyte of the Sun, 4 Sorceress of the Moon, 4 Sigrun, 4 Bethor, and then 4 Air. One moment, let me adjust the camera here, it's kind of shaking a little. And then 4 Ear. So we got some, again, some reanimation, we've got some life gain, we've got some flying, we've got some ramp. Going into the runes, we had a Bewilder, Dispel, Einherjar Summon, Brunhild's Wrath, and then we finish it out with Whispers of an Angel. Pretty standard white card. It is a common, very easy to get to, and it's again at that life gain, it's draw power that kind of fills out the white deck. Going into the reprints that we are using, once again, talking about the 1-drop that has that based on the stone, so 4 Arcana Collector. Oh, another reprint, by the way, is the 4 Phalanx. I forgot to put those in. And then we're playing 4 Priest of Minerva, because it's the Rune 2. For our additions, we're playing 2 Minervas, Castle of Country of the Sun, and then 2 Lunasharas. Again, this is Ramp, and then Eternal, which is something that white is known for. And then to fill it out, you have some options here. You could play 4 copies of Volley, or you could play 2 Volley and 2 Blessing of the Sun. Kind of fills it out either way. It's again common, so it's very easy to get in bulk, and that kind of fills out the white deck. Kind of both speak to this whole idea of having a lot of smaller dudes on board and then rushing your opponent down. Going into blue, our machines with a little bit of awakening. Once again, going through quickly the reprints. We're playing Percival, who is a machine, Fenrir, who's awakening, Gawain, who is a machine, Gretel, who goes with awakenings, machines with donut drones, and machines with mechanical bishop. The rune-wise, we play a Overflowing Knowledge, a Maintenance, a Monstrify, a Reconnaissance, and then an uncommon for this one, which is Scrap and Build. So the idea of being it's a very machine-heavy deck, so we're using Scrap and Build, but the best thing we could possibly hit off of it is a Percival or a Gawain. So that was the idea of the trade-off of playing something kind of like Scrap and Build, that it's so impactful, but the top end of the machine curve is not super great. So that's why we kind of traded that off. Going into the reprints in the main deck, once again, we're playing the Filter Boy, or the Stone-looking boys, Freya's Transforming Cane, the Rune 2, which is Garmheld's Phantasmal Warrior. Our additions are 2 Ruins Beneath the Misty Spring and 2 Ruined Capital. Ultimately, you could choose to play 4 Ruined in the Mystery Springs if that's what you have more of. Both are uncommon, and fill that slot very nicely. And then finally, to curve it out, we're playing 4 Skyfall. So the reason why we're playing 4 Skyfall is because it showcases both the idea of giving something quick cast because of the synergy of machines, and also just being a bounce spell with potentially not having quick cast. And that fills out the water. Going into green with wind. Quickly, again, as a reminder of what the reprints are. The green one does look a little bit different. So we have Yokai Festival, 100 Eyes Oni, 4 Pygmy Hippo, 4 Huge Toad, 4 Soot Sprites, 4 Kukuichi, or Chiomes, and then curves it out with 4 Jiraiya's. So going into the reprints in the main deck, we're playing 4 Squirrel Transmuter, or Transporter, playing 4 Mimi Tribe Leader. Sure, he's a Mimi Tribe, but he is the Rune 2. The additions get a little wonky in this one because we're not playing 3. You can play 2 Village of Spirited Away Koga and 1 Barrier Castle. You could also play 1 Barrier Castle or 2 Koga. They're both uncommon, so it kind of is based on you. And then we're actually filling it out with a Yokai Festival, mainly because the spells that are in this, as you're about to see, are not as powerful. We're playing this as a one-of, as a way to kind of have a way for the deck to kind of seal the deal. I wanted each deck to be able to have some kind of closer spell. And because we have the 100-eyed ones in the deck with Yokai Festival, but we still want to play full cost for it, we have that option. And then our spells are 2 copies of In a Single Stroke, and then 2 copies of Gunpowder Barrel. A quick cast and a non-quick cast, and then harder removal, softer removal, and draw power. And then rune-wise, again, the reprints are Explore the Unknown, Whirlwind Technique, Snipe Away Me, not Rapid Fire Me, Forest Meditation, and Fuma Shuriken. So the one that we kind of put in as a reprint is, or the fill out the slot, is Explore the Unknown. It shows, again, that idea of the consistency that green doesn't necessarily have draw power, it has more dig, and so we're going to use it that way. Closing out the decks is the red. So we'll quickly go over Fire's reprints. We have Sets, Pang Tong, Rekless Flame Soldier, Tiger of Kun Lun, Sandora's Blacksmith, and Sand Dragon. Then, for the stuff that we're putting in the deck, once again, we have the checker for the Magic Stones, 4 copies of Shadow of Chaos. Then we're also playing 4 copies of the Warrior Lurking Beneath the Sands. Our addition in this case is the Asanka Training Ground. All of our resonators are fire, so it has this kind of +1/+1 kind of it illustrates the idea of being very, very aggressive. And then we finish it off with a good old-fashioned Scalding Breath playset, which is a good burn spell. Helps to show that red kind of can fizzle out, but then has some reach. And then also has some J-Ruler hate. I try to give every deck at least something to be able to answer or talk to J-Rulers. Again, the reprints, we have Soldier's Ambush, Explosion, Dragon's Flight, Conealed Kopesh, and then the rune we picked to kind of fill it out is this Contract Forged in Sand. The idea was, again, to show this very aggressive bursting potential of red, and how red oftentimes will sacrifice its own units to be able to get that reach, to be able to push through to finish the game. That's the idea of banishing a Resonator, recovering one of your other guys, and swinging in. I thought fit that 5th rune slot very, very well. Once again, with these decks, the entire point was to make it so that your locals could very quickly and easily have ways for people to play. There's one for every single color. It is built with just handy dandy reprints and commons and uncommons that the store most likely has in bulk. If you are interested, all of the deck lists for these lists will be down in the description, and I hope that it makes sense for your locals to try to make use of it. It's a great tool that I'm really excited to be able to pitch to. Again, your store can just choose to give them away, or say like $5 to have an entire deck to be able to work with. And again, it's very easy to just house rule Arcana of Dawn to say it's a Divinity 10 ruler with no effects, and instead of a filter, it has an Energize. It's a really easy way to make this deck work for the purposes of demo games, and even just using it as a Divinity 7 gives you access to essentially three runes per game if you're playing just that way with people playing against each other. But that's it. I hope you guys like it. Again, please check out the links in the description below for the full deck lists, or just look at the deck list down below, and let me know how these work for your locals, or if you would make a change to them and if it worked better. Happy to hear about it down in the comments. That's it for now, though. I hope this brings in a lot of new players, and until next time, this is DMO73 saying class dismissed.